And here we go, as that just said, and we've been going. We have added to our repertoire today. So besides having the smoothie from the machine behind me, I got a king cake someone brought over to me. So it has been a great day already with meeting so many people and hearing so many stories and learning so much. And that learning continues here with Lori Colangelo.
We want to welcome her in from Hopeville School District. Learn about who she is, her work, her session yesterday. So, Lori, here we go. How are you today? Good. So for people who don't know your work, we'd love for you to share.
Okay, so I worked for 20 years as an elementary school teacher. When I started going around the colleges with my son, I saw that there was a need for technology education at the lower levels, like a pathway into college. So I went back and got my master's in technology education. I started working for a couple educational companies as a curriculum development consultant. Missed the classroom, came back. So, coming to these conventions is great because I could still, mentor teachers, help teachers, but I haven't left the classroom and I can work with my students as well.
Wonderful. And so where did you start in education?
What was your journey to get to that place?
Well, I've always wanted to be a teacher, so hence, me missing being in the classroom. So I'm actually at my alma mater, working with students. One of the things I'm presenting about today and yesterday was about creating a digital lab space in a classroom. As the child of a steel mill worker in Pittsburgh, we saw all the steel mills, go out of business. And there are lots of technology manufacturing factories coming up. In fact, right outside where I live, Shell built this huge fracking plant. But the difference is when my dad worked at J&L, there were 14,000 employees. Now there's 500 at Shell. So I want to look at how I can prepare my students to get those jobs that don't even exist yet. So looking at the skills they need, looking at what experience I can give them is important.
And bringing that, and that's, that real world thinking, critical thinking skills. What are some things that you're seeing students, as you said, training them for jobs that aren't even there yet? What are some of those future ready skills that you want to make sure to instill in our students?
So computational skills, problem solving, knowing the engineering design process, just collaboration, those soft skills, all of that is important. So I teamed up with our gifted teacher and we looked at what the students would need in the future, especially employable skills. And we decided that we wanted to give the students some real world opportunities using 3D printers and scanners. And I teach CAD as well as robotics. So how can we combine that all into a cohesive lab that students can use?
Wonderful. So yesterday, here's your session, designing a digital manufacturing space for an evolving future. So that had already happened, but for those who see something like that or your work in the future, what did you do in that session?
So I talked about how we created our space. When we decided to do that, we had a two-pronged attack. So the first was coming up with funding, because you can't do anything without money. So we reached out to local colleges, we reached out to other teachers to see how they got funding. So we ended up partnering up with Robert Morris University through a Benetton Foundation grant that they received and worked with us. So they were able to give us a lot of equipment, plus the modules. It's great to get equipment, but if you don't know how to use it, it just sits and collects dust. So they provided training for our students, training for us. Like I said, they created modules. We actually took the kids up to Robert Morris to meet with those professors that were creating the materials that they were using. So it was a really cool opportunity. And then our students were the ones who put the 3D printers together, who built the robots. So it provides them with ownership and creativity. The other task was getting affordable, quality equipment. So we use a lot of Vex robotics products because a lot of that, there's many different platforms. They have the Vex code, which is great for the kids to learn either block or Python. There's great support, so it was easy to transition into that. And then there's such versatility, they can use their product to teach a bunch of things.
Wonderful. So is this your first time at FETC?
No, I was here last year to present.
Wonderful. So is there something for the first timers that you learned last year, or learned either because of something you did or something you're like, oh, I wish I did, that you're bringing to this event?
Just talk to people. I made a lot of contacts, other teachers. I was just talking to a table of people, and 2 of them were from Pittsburgh, so they were local, you know, and to me. And just meeting teachers that you can partner up with. We all have the same goals. We're here because we want quality education for our students. I would tell the first timers, make sure you hit the expo. There's lots of free licenses, lots of giveaways, but there's a lot of things you could take home. I shared a lot of things last year with my superintendent, even if it didn't pertain to my grade level and the principals. And so that way, all of the teachers I work with kind of benefit from me being here.
Wonderful. So speaking of benefiting from you being here, what are some of the sessions or topics you're looking to take in and grow as a learner?
So our principal and superintendent wants us to start an esports team.
Okay.
So I'm going to be hitting a lot of those sessions. There's a lot of information out there, so it's important to know where to start and not be overwhelmed. So I think those sessions will be the most beneficial for me.
Wonderful. And are you here for the whole event? Are you?
Yes.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So you have 3 more days of this learning and excitement and connecting with folks.
Right. And I'm actually doing a little mini session at the VEX booth today at 4:30, talking about an abbreviated session of what I did yesterday about our digital lab and how we brought all the equipment together and some of the projects we did. A lot of times we want to attach our projects to service. So maybe 3D printing little pill containers for seniors at a senior center, or creating disposable games that we can take to a food pantry. Things like that. We do want the students to have some service as well as learning career skills.
Oh, great. So you had mentioned being at the VEX booth tonight, or this afternoon, 4:30. Are there other vendors you're going to look for to connect with or learn from, or you had talked about?
Yeah, like I said, probably the esports. Cybersecurity is always, like, that's a growing thing in our area. In Pittsburgh, we are transitioning from, like I said, a manufacturing still town to a tech. We've always had, like, Children's Hospital and the health aspects with Pitt. But, for example, I know that we're headed back to the moon, and Pittsburgh is one of those cities that is working with NASA for that. Pittsburgh is also one of the cities that are working on the new nuclear subs that are in development for the military. And probably the last 4 or 5 years, Google has had their self-driving cars training in our city. So there's always something going on.
Wonderful. So what is coming up next for you in your profession? I know you talked about esports. Is there other things that you're looking to do in your district?
Yeah, I want to take our lab and kind of bring it down to the lower grades and adapt it. So that way, by the time the kids are coming to me, they're more experienced, and then I can actually enrich the program even more and take it into more individualized courses and some independent studies and stuff like that. Wonderful.
Well, one of the things I always ask our guests, and from hearing the work that you do both in your district, your session yesterday, working with VEX, a lot of collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So what does Stronger Together mean to you?
Well, I definitely could not do the best for my students if I'm just by myself. So collaboration is very important. Like I said, I partnered up with our gifted teacher, looking for other people to share the same vision and then working with them. In Pittsburgh, I work with Remake Learning, and I work with Penn State Beaver doing summer camps. So making those contacts, making those networking, like I said, coming with a group of community that has a shared vision can only benefit myself, my students, and the others that I'm working with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing. Follow Lori and her work below. Her Twitter handle is there. The work that she's doing both for events like this and in your district. And as you develop those esports programs or teams, and as you said, some of this other work that you're doing. You'll see all of that on her Twitter handle as she shares and continues to connect. So thank you for coming on. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And 4:30, make sure to head down to the VEX booth to see some of the work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.